Happy Aloha Friday, everybody. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us today for our new live, not our new, but our ongoing series of live classes. And I have Joe with me today. It's an Excel Today
Woo!
reunion. Yeah.
It
No-
feels like Excel today.
yeah. It's Aloha Friday, guys, for the summer, breaking out the Aloha shirts for every single Friday event that I'm hosting. So hopefully I'll have a different one for each day. I have enough. So, and then hopefully I'm not hosting every single Friday and you'll see Mickey in my place instead. But it is Friday. It is which tool when Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive. Joe is going to demo each one of these. There's no exercise files needed today. So if it's like fire up Teams, fire up SharePoint, and fire up OneDrive, and you'll be able to follow along with Joe. I'm going to go through all the usual stuff. Hello, Jay Haygood. Thank you for joining us. Yep, TGIF for sure. 100% TGIF today. Nice short week for us in the States, as well as Memorial Day was this past Monday, which is the official start of summer here in the United States. So, just letting our global audience know. I know we have a global audience from all over the world. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, uh, good late night. If any of you are working the grave, I've done that before. But let's jump right into it here, just how everything kind of works here, guys. How it works. This is our Friday live class, which is every other Friday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. These are 1 hour versions of our classes. Well, it's condensed a little bit closer to 50 minutes, but there are and the classes are usually chosen around a monthly theme, and as it says there, it's usually based on our full length workshops. So you'll get about half of what's usually taught in our full version live classes, and it's always led by subject matter experts and guest speakers. Occasionally we will have a guest speaker come on to speak about something that is business related, or charitable event or something like that. Kofi, hey QEDU, hey Gary, hello Kofi. Oh, yep, twice to Kofi. So see, hello Kofi, hello QEDU, hello Gary, and AJ. One more time. Hey, we're glad you appreciate the page as well. As always, right after this, we have Tableau Basics Advanced. This is part 3 of a 4-part series that we have for Tableau. And then right after that, we'll condense all the videos into one mega video, and that'll be the full course video, and that'll release the Friday after. But back to what we do today, the live class. Our subject matter expert today is the one and only Joe Patty. Joe, I've never had to read all this copy for you before, but let's go through it. Joe recently moved from the San Francisco Bay Area to New Jersey, and he just recently moved
Back.
back.
Going back to New Jersey.
Yeah, so he's back in New Jersey, guys. So he's on the East Coast with anyone else on the East Coast. He is an avid world traveler. Joe has lived in Ukraine, Russia, Macedonia, Bulgaria, London, and had a quick cup of tea in China. When he isn't traveling, he loves singing, acting, volunteering, and hanging out with his wife and son. And I can tell you, Joe loves to dance. When we met up in New York,
Oh, yeah.
definitely got a rug there, as they say. And so I'm aging myself by using that term. Joe is very enthusiastic about being a part of the Learn It team as an end user instructor. He truly believes in what Learn It has to offer to its customers. So it's the one and only Joe Patty, everybody. Joe, I guess I'll let you take the show when you're ready to share your screen and whatnot, and then I'll let you take it over from there. But just wanted to also say, guys, if you want to be get a bigger heads up on these events, it's an offsite. In the offsite, we also have the live instructor expert hours. That is a block of time where there'll be an instructor in a Zoom room waiting for people to come in with their issues that they're having with any program. Usually we try to choose a theme to try to keep it on there, but you can come in there with any issue you have, whether it be with Excel, PowerPoint, Word, SharePoint, whatever you guys are having issues with software wise, you can bring it in there, and then our instructor will be there to help you live in person. So, like if you have a Excel worksheet that you're at work and you just can't get it to work, they'll help you get it to work and everything like that. So if you want to take advantage of that, you definitely have to join Offsite, our online community of professionals and instructors and everything like that. It's a place where you can network and everything like that to learn more and talk to other fellow people who might be in the same position as you. So yeah, check it out on Offsite, guys. That's exclusive access for those live instructor sessions. And also, you can always go there and post questions there as well. Our instructors will also answer them there as well. That's just going to be a slower turnaround time, obviously, as opposed to the live session where you can get help instantly. All right, Joe, I see you got your screen going. So let's get you up and going and take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ben. Yeah, super excited to be here. And, me and Ben are always hosting Excel today. So we will get some episodes out soon. But today we are here for about a little over 45 minutes here, talking about which tool when. This is one of my favorite topics because, as you know, a lot of companies are either in a hybrid state, or some people are remote, or some people are still in person. But regardless of what type of work you do, whether it's remote, in person, or hybrid, a lot of the communication and collaboration is now available to us through these amazing applications. The only problem is, which one, right? We have so many different applications out there for communication, collaboration, and being able to share files that a lot of times we ask ourselves, which tool when do we use it? Do we use it when we just want to say hello to our coworker? Do we want to use it when we just want to share one file or maybe a bunch of files? Which tool do we use and when do we use it? So that's what this is. We are going to give you a nice little demo of our which tool when course. It's going to be amazing. By the end of it, you're going to have a better understanding of the three major communication and collaboration tools, which are going to be OneDrive, SharePoint, and Teams. So with that said, let's get right into it. So which tool when? Really, this is important to understand the me, the we, and the everyone. That's how I like to put it. See, we have our OneDrives, and I want you to think of OneDrive as just a personal cloud storage service that allows you to store, share, and access your files from anywhere. It's like having your own personal hard drive, but in the cloud. And what do I mean by cloud? I mean the internet. So it is on a server in the internet, and you have access to any type of file, whether it's a document or a photo or even a video. Now, with the OneDrive, a lot of people try to understand, well, Joe, when you say cloud storage system, I can access the files from anywhere. Do I need internet to access them? Yes, you do. The only way you can access your OneDrive is through the internet connection. So, really, why was OneDrive created for us? Well, if we think about the history of file storage, let's kind of go all the way back. And don't make fun of my drawing because the drawings are always horrible. But before we even had computers, when we just had typewriters and we were typing out some documents, what ended up happening? Well, we would store those documents where? You know where. Those old fashioned filing cabinet systems that maybe you might have slammed your finger once or twice in. And if you remember in those filing cabinet systems, we would have those green folders to organize all of our documents. And inside of the green folders, we would have the documents themselves. So we did this for a couple of years. But then someone came up with a genius idea. They said, hey, we now have computers. Why don't we figure out a way to store our files somewhere? And it's actually still around this icon because we use it whenever we use Microsoft. You'll see it in the top right hand corner, top left hand corner, and it's our save icon. What is the save icon? And once again, don't make fun of the drawing, but our save icon is a floppy disk, right? If you open up any of our Microsoft, the save icon is always a floppy disk. So that was another way to store our files. And then after a while, CDs came out where we would burn some of our files onto a CD, right? And then after that, this one's pretty bad. This one's a USB. Remember the USBs? You might even still use USBs, right? But what is the problem with all of these things? Well, the problem is that, well, we're not going to carry around a huge metal cabinet filled with files. We're not going to carry around this big square disk or even a huge CD disk now. And even if we wanted to carry around this smaller sized USB, it can still get broke, lost, stolen. Something can happen to it. So Microsoft said, why don't we do something like this? Why don't we put the files on our server online in the cloud? They call it the cloud. Okay, I lied. This is the worst drawing out of all of them. My cloud. This is supposed to be a cloud. So they said, why don't we put everything into the cloud so that no matter where you are in the world, no matter what time it is, you can access your files. So really, it's just the same thing as a filing cabinet or a floppy disk or a CD or a USB. It is your own personal storage system that you have access to at any time, at any place, as long as you have internet connection. And because of this, this is known as the me because it's only your files. Nobody else in the world has access to your files on OneDrive except for you. And the reason this is important to know is because just think of it as your USB. Only you have access to that. Only you have access to your OneDrive. If you decide you want to share a file one off, right? Somebody might say, "Hey, Joe, can you share this file with me?" You're more than welcome to. But OneDrive is your personal storage system for all of your work related files. Now that brings me to my next one. What is Teams? Well, Teams is a collaboration platform. It allows you to work with a team together to communicate. So instead of sending messages through email back and forth, or instead of somebody saying, "Hey, Joe, can you share me a file from your OneDrive? Joe, can you share me a file from your OneDrive?" What I can do is I can create a team where all of our communication takes place, all of our file sharing takes place. I can do video conference calls, I can chat with them instantly. I can use other integrated project management tools like Excel, PowerPoint, Word. And not only that, I can create channels within Teams to organize every single major topic and project in a nice, organized manner to have those conversations and those files that are attached to them. So I want you to think of a place, a magic place where it's a one-stop shop for everything. We have communication, so we no longer need to email back and forth. We could just send a chat message to everyone on our team at once. We no longer have to share files one off or attach them to an email. We can share them to the team, and everyone on the team has access to them. And also, if you can't meet in person, you can have a video call with them. So you still feel like you're having that communication and that collaboration in real time. And that's why the teams is the we of things, right? So it's the team that you're working with. Now, the last tool that we have access to, and this one's an amazing one, is SharePoint, the point of sharing, right? That's why they called it SharePoint, the point of sharing things with your coworkers. SharePoint is a web-based collaborative tool, and what it does is it allows you to share content, knowledge, and other applications through a website. So it's designed to be used by organizations to just store and share the information internally, so cross-functionally. Teams is more about like a small team, right? SharePoint is more about the entire organization, which is amazing, right? So no longer do we have to worry, oh, do we need to send this resource over to finance, IT, and human resources? No, I can just put the document on the SharePoint and everyone in the company has access to it. And that's why I have deemed this one everyone, right? OneDrive is your personal file storage system. Teams is where you can work together with a team, communicate with the team, and collaborate. And SharePoint is the point of sharing across an entire organization, even if it's a cross functional organization as well. These three tools are amazing. Do they all allow you to share files? Yes, they do. OneDrive allows you to share a file one off. Somebody asks me, "Joe, can you have a file?" Here you go, Ben, you can have the file. But if I'm sharing files with Ben every single day, I might as well create a team and say, "Hey, Ben, let's be in a team together. Let me just create the team and we could put files inside of that team and we both have access." That way you don't have to ask me every single time for a file. And for SharePoint, hey, listen, we have a huge department that needs all of these resources. Let's just create a SharePoint site where we create a website where they can see all the information in one place. So, really, which tool would you want to use? It's really up to you. Do you know that you're only going to be sharing one file every so often and that's it? No communication? Well, then use OneDrive. Are you going to be having conversations a lot, sharing a lot of files? Well, then use Teams. Are you going to be sharing files with the entire company or with multiple departments in your company? Well, then use SharePoint. So really, which tool do you use when is determined by what your needs are. Everyone's needs are different. So with that said, today what I want to do for all of you is I want to summarize what these three things are, and then I want to walk through a demo of each of them. That way you can see them. So to summarize, remember, OneDrive is for personal cloud storage, Teams is for team collaboration and communication, and SharePoint is for organizational content management and collaboration. All right, the entire organization, the point of sharing. So with that said, what we're going to be exploring today in this session is, first off, getting started with OneDrive. I am going to showcase to you accessing your OneDrive desktop and online. I'm going to showcase adding and organizing files in OneDrive and how we can share just a one-off file. We'll then talk about getting started with Microsoft Teams, where I'll showcase how to create a team, add members, create channels, create posts, and share a file. And then last but not least, I will be showcasing getting started with SharePoint, where we navigate to SharePoint, and then I show you how we can create a site. Now, I do want to say one thing here today, and the reason why is because it's really important. Sometimes different organizations will only allow you access to certain things. For instance, your company might not allow you to create a team. Your company might not allow you to create a website. Check with your IT department first or your admins to see if you're allowed to do these things. If you're following along with me and you notice, Joe, I don't have a create a team button, don't be scared. Don't let that deter you from using that. It just simply means that you don't have access to it yet, and you can ask for access or see what your company's process is to gain access. So let's have some fun with this. Let's get right into it, starting off with OneDrive. So what is our OneDrive? Well, I already drew the cloud for you. I know it wasn't the best looking cloud, but yes, that little icon in your taskbar right there, that is your OneDrive. It looks like a little cloud icon right there. And if you click on that cloud, what's going to happen is it's going to pop up this little pane here. It's going to take a moment, and it's going to showcase my folder that I can open, which is the offline. This is the desktop version, so I can quickly go to the desktop version and open up my OneDrive if I'm not online. Also, I can just go here to the File Explorer. So both of these things do the same exact thing. Two ways, always to do the same thing. That's Microsoft's motto. We also have a way to access it immediately online by clicking on View Online. Another way to access it online is to open up a random web browser. I don't mind which one. I'm just using Google Chrome as an example. And you would go to office.com and sign into your Office account. So that's how you would get to OneDrive that way. So the offline version here is going to be open folder. And you'll see it's going to open up all my files here that are on the cloud. Now, once again, I could have just done that by clicking on the File Explorer and then just going to my OneDrive, the little cloud icon. Would have brought me to the same spot. Now, if you're ever wondering what these status mean, by the way, there's a couple different status. I'll go over them real quick. The little cloud icon means that this folder is only available online. That means that if you're not connected to the internet, you don't have access to this file or the folder. If you see a little link icon, that means that's not your file or folder. Somebody's sharing it with you. So if somebody decides, hey, Joe, I'm going to share this with you, and I want it on my OneDrive so I have access to it, you'll see the little link. The person icon means that you're sharing it with somebody. So I share a lot of these handouts with my students. That's why I have the little person. I'm constantly sharing that file and folder. Scrolling down a little bit, you'll see right here, you won't see this often, but because I just started my OneDrive, it is synchronizing my files. That means that if I want to work with something when I'm offline, the minute I get internet again, it's going to load it to the online. That way they're synchronized. You don't have to do things twice. Scrolling down a little more, I'll have this little check mark. What does that mean? That means that it's available online and offline. The cloud means that it's available only online. You can change this. If you want to have access to this only online, you can right click on the folder and you can say free up space. Because when you see this little check mark, that means it lives on your computer. It's taking up space. And sometimes you don't want the computer to have so much space, right? Your computer starts to run slow if you have too many files on it. So you can free up space and it will load it to the cloud, which is pretty nice. Or vice versa, if you know that you need this file, I'm like, woof, I really need this Python training file. You can right click and you can say, I want to put it on this device. Keep it on this device. So you can choose which one you want. Just remember, anytime there's a cloud, that means you can only access it when you're online. If you see the check mark, you can access it both online and offline. You can always switch between the two. That is our desktop version of OneDrive. And in the desktop version, we have all the same tools that we have in the online version. I can quickly share the file if I wanted to. I'll open up my little share link here, and I'll just showcase this to you once it loads. And then we'll go online and I'll show you the same thing. How awesome is this? I can quickly choose the settings, say that anyone in the world has access, only people from my company. They can either view it or I want them to make changes and edit it with me. So you can have some fun with that and choose your different settings. You can do all of this in the online version as well. Or if you really do like this little desktop version, it feels familiar to you, you can do all of your OneDrive stuff just straight from here. It's really up to you. It's preference. So let me show you the online version though. To get to the online version, once again, you click on that little icon, that cloud icon, and you go to View Online. Now, if you've never signed in before, it might ask you to sign in, just so you know. But look at this. It brings me straight to my OneDrive, where I quickly have access, once again, to all of my files. How awesome is that? And if you click on OneDrive, it will bring you to the default landing page here, where I can see all of my recent files I've been working on. I can go to my files and see all the same files that you just saw before. There they all are. Or I can see files that people have shared with me, which is nice. Things that have been shared with me or things that have been shared by me. That's always nice to see. And really, you also have access to create new content on here, whether you want to create a new Word document or Excel or PowerPoint or OneNote, or even upload files from your computer. Now, great question from Gary. Gary says, on your personal computer, do you have OneDrive? You can download it. Yes, you can. Of course, you have to pay for it, right? So I believe actually they do have a free version, but it's very limited, Gary. So I wouldn't personally use it. They do have ones that are pretty affordable. But yes, you can have your own personal OneDrive. And that's the best part is you'll see right over here in the top right-hand corner, I have access to sign into multiple OneDrives that I have. And of course, because I'm a trainer, they always allow me to have a training account. So as you can see, you can have as many as you want. But really, you might want to have a personal one for your like family photos, things like that, and then have a company one for, and usually the company will give you one on its own. So great question, by the way. All right, so continuing this, let's keep going with this. We can also share the file from here as well. Just like I showed you before, I can click on any file or folder here. Maybe I want to grab this one, and I can click the little share icon, and I can quickly share this. And look, it's the same exact interface. So everything looks the same. I could click that little gear again, and look, anyone, learn it, modify, set a password or expiration date. If you don't want them to download the file, you just want them to look at it. You can even block them from downloading it. And then once you apply those settings, you can then share. Remember that these are your files. Nobody else has access to them unless you share access. If I decided I wanted to share something, right? Like right here, I'm already sharing something. I can choose not to share it. So let me find a file real quick. I'll show you how to do this, and then we'll move on to our teams. So let's say I'm sharing this right here. I shared it on May 9th, and I'm like, I don't want to share this anymore. If you share something, you can click the ellipsis, go to manage access, who has access to this file, because remember, it's mine. I know, I'm very greedy. Everything's mine in OneDrive because it is. It's all about you. There's 2 people I shared this with. I'm gonna stop sharing and make this private again. I'm gonna stop sharing, and boom. This will change to private again once you refresh. You might have to refresh it. But now anyone that had access to that no longer has access. So if I go back down to it, see, where did I have that? Right there? There it was, the advanced lookups. Now it's private again. So you choose if you want to share. All right. So, okay, with that said, that is our OneDrive. That is our file storage system. And if you're like, Joe, I really don't like this interface, always remember that you can just simply use the file explorer that you might be more familiar with because it does all the same stuff here. All right, all the same files. If I scroll down, I'll find that same file I just showed you. Boom, there it is. All right. Okay, so with that said, now let's talk a little bit about Teams. Once again, Teams is going to help us to collaborate with our coworkers. And let's say that we realize OneDrive isn't doing it for us anymore. Me and Ben have been sharing files back and forth, but I need more communication with Ben. I don't want to keep having to ask Ben for a file, and he's tired of asking me for a file. And we're like, hey, why don't we create a team? Because me and you will be on the team together. We'll work on all this stuff together and we won't have to worry about sharing things via OneDrive. We could share everything via Teams, have all our communication in one place, have all of our files in one place, and get stuff done. And Ben says, that's a great idea. Can you make the team for me? Okay, I will. So I'm going to open up Teams. It's going to be this little icon here. I have it on my taskbar. If you don't, no worries. You can just go to the start menu. But I'm going to open up my Teams. It's going to open up here. You'll see different sections in Teams. So you'll see I have quite a few different teams here. I have a couple of team sandboxes. I actually was being nice to you all today because I hid most of the teams. I can hide as many teams as I want. So I'll hide all of these so you can't see them. And the reason I hid them from you is because I didn't want you to get scared. Boom. I know. Yeah, it keeps going. Nope, we're not done yet. It goes all the way. I am part of 1,000 teams. I get it. I'm a busy guy. So yes, you can be part of many different teams, right? You can be part of a team for a project you're working on with human resources. Maybe you're also doing a project with marketing team, right? So you can be a part of multiple teams, as many as you want. So now that we're in the Teams section, once you get into the Teams interface, you'll see we have activity pane where we can see our activity, chat where we can have one-on-one chats or small group chats. We have Teams where we can create a team to have all the communication and files in one place with that team. We have a calendar that is synchronized with Outlook. That's pretty amazing, right? We have phone calls. Yeah, we can make a call. No longer do we need a phone on our desk. It's a one-stop shop with Teams here. And we have all of our files. And the best part about these files, this is integration right here. Ready for this? I actually have access to my OneDrive. How cool is that? So I don't even have to go open up OneDrive. I have my personal storage system right here in Teams. So if I do need to share a file, I don't have to go open up OneDrive, share the file into Teams. I could just come right here and share it. I think that's amazing stuff, right? Everything's integrated. So let's go over to our team section where I'll create a team for you. I'm going to create a team. It's going to be called Joe's Cool Team because I can't come up with a better naming convention. I'm going to click on Create a Team. You can either use a template that Microsoft pre-created, or if one of your coworkers made a really cool template, you can create it from a team that already exists. But we're going to keep things simple and create one from scratch. You can choose if it's private, which means people need permission to join, or anyone in your organization can join. For me, I'm going to keep it private. It's between me and Ben. We're going to give a team the name. Let's call it, no, you know what? Since it's me and Ben, I can't just call it Joe's Cool Team. I'm going to call it the Cool Duo. And does that sound good? I don't know. I'm making it up as I go. So we'll say, what is this team going to do? This team will work on various projects for learning. It's just a sweet, simple description of what this team's going to be working on. That's it. Name it whatever makes sense. Maybe don't use that same name that I did, but yeah, name it something more creative. Then click create. It's going to create the team for you. It's going to even give you a thumbs up and say nice work and makes you feel good already. And the next thing it's going to ask you is, who do you want to add to the cool duo? Well, I'm already the owner of this team, so I'm already in there. But I can add whoever I want from my directory. And you can also add people, but just a little description here. You can also add people outside your organization as guests by typing in their email, but not every single company allows you to do this. Some companies are really strict about just internal teams. So ask your admin before you say, oh, Joe told me I could do this. They might say yes, but you can't in this company. So just ask. I'm going to add Ben to the team here. I'm going to add Ben. Now, right away, you can add Ben as just a plain old member, or I can even add Ben as another owner. You can have up to 10 owners total, including yourself. So I can add 9 other owners. Now, since it's just me and Ben, yeah, I'll probably make Ben an owner so that Ben can take control of this team. It's just me and Ben. If you're the owner of like 10 people, right, that's okay. If you are the owner of like 50, well, then you better get a co-owner to help you out. So I'll make Ben the owner as well. And I'll click close. And look at that. We have the cool duo team, right? So the first thing, when you create a team, it automatically creates a general channel. What are channels? They're just ways to organize your major topics and projects. What is the general channel for? Well, it's if you have nothing to say in the other channels, right? Here's an example. I'm going to create 2 more channels, right? We already have one. I'm going to click on the ellipsis and I'm going to say add a channel. This channel is going to be called Project Alpha because we're working on this project called Project Alpha. I'm going to then click add. We're also working on a new onboarding system. So I'm going to add another channel about what me and Ben are actually working on. Add channel. I'm going to call it new onboarding system. I'm going to click add. So here it is. Ready? This is the magic. Every single channel comes with 2 things. Ready? If you click into any channel, it has a place to put conversations and a place to add files regarding that topic or project. What does that mean for you? No more emails back and forth about a topic or project. No more asking, hey, Ben, can you share the file? All of the new onboarding system conversations will be here. All of the new onboarding system files will be here. How awesome is that? With no file limitation for attaching files. Like when you attach a file via email, you have limitation. You don't. So let's say, for instance, I want to say something about Project Alpha. It's getting started. So I go to Project Alpha, I type in a new conversation, and I'm like, hey. If it's just me and Ben, I could just say, hey, Ben. Hey, Ben. And I can also @mention Ben. So Ben gets a separate notification by using an @ symbol, very similar to like Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, if any of you use those. I personally don't, but if you use the @ symbol, it gives them a separate notification, and that notification will end up in their activity. You don't have to do this though. Ben will come in here and see it eventually, but if you do the notification, they'll get notified for it. I'll just say, hey, Ben. Also, if you press enter, it's horrible. If you press enter, it sends it by accident. And you're like, oops, I didn't mean to send that. You think you're skipping down a line and really you didn't. If you ever do that, no worries. Just press the up arrow and it'll put you back into editing mode. And then you can hold the Shift Enter key to skip down a line. And I'll say, hey, Ben, Project Alpha is starting soon. You can add little emojis, smiley faces, GIFs, stickers, whatever you like here. I'll press enter. And now the best part about it is Ben can actually reply to me. So all of our replies are in one threaded chat. And look, there it is. And I get a little notification. How awesome is that? No longer do I have to worry about, ooh, where's that email Ben sent me? It's all in one place. Now, if I decide I want to have a conversation about the new onboarding system, I'll go to that channel and type something. So all of our files, all of our communications are organized. So a lot of people will ask me, well, then Joe, what's the general file for? Well, the general channel is if you don't have anything you're saying about Project Alpha, and if it's not pertaining to new onboarding system, if it has nothing to do with these two topics, then put it here. For instance, maybe I just want to tell Ben he's doing a great job. I mean, you could put it here and here, but why? When we could just put it here. It has nothing to do with just one or the other. It has to do with both of them. So I'll put it in general. Or maybe I want to tell Ben that we're doing a team building exercise. It has nothing to do with these two. So general, you cannot delete it or edit it. General will always be there. And that is so amazing because now we have everything, once again, organized by topic and by project. Let's say I do have a file that I want to upload to the new onboarding system. I can do that by clicking into new onboarding system channel, going to the file tab, and right away, I can start uploading new files or creating new files. So if I want to upload a file, now Ben will automatically have access to it. The minute you upload to the team, whoever's on this team has access. That's the best part. So if Ben adds something, they'll have access. I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'll upload a fake. Let's do something fake here. I have so many files that it is unbelievable sometimes. Here we go. Let's do this one. I'll open it up. And now Ben immediately has access. No longer does Ben have to say, Joe, can you send me that file you promised me? Oh no, it's right there. It's in the new onboarding system channel. Pretty amazing, right? And then we have, once again, posts. So if I want to create a new conversation about new onboarding, I can. One of my favorite things, though, about Teams is the fact that you can go and click the little plus icon and you can add more integrated tools, whether that be a Word document, a list from SharePoint, a SharePoint page, Power BI dashboard, or if you go to see all, you can see all the different apps you have access to. Microsoft Project if you wanted to, or Microsoft's Smart Sheets, right? It's not even Microsoft, but they have integration with other applications out there. So they have quite a few of them here. You can quickly find what you want. Or click see all here and see all the ones you have here. We can have a wiki. That's just an ongoing document that never ends. If me and Ben are doing the new onboarding system and we need a calendar, we can even add a channel calendar on there so that we share a calendar together about the onboarding system. How awesome is that? And we can name it whatever we want. We can call it the new onboarding system schedule. And then I can add it. Now me and Ben have a shared calendar together on this team, and we can start adding things to it about the new onboarding system. So now we have conversations about the new onboarding system, we have files for the new onboarding system, and we now have a calendar for it as well. And you can add as many things as you want here. Like I said, one-stop shop. That's why it's so amazing. All right, everyone. Now that we've gone over OneDrive, we've gone over Teams, we are now going to go over the point of sharing, SharePoint. So SharePoint now is when we're working with cross-functional departments or the entire organization. And yes, Gary, great question. Can Ben see the same calendar? Of course. That's the best part is you both now live in that team. You see everything together. All the new tabs, all the files, all the calendars, all the conversations, all in one place. That's great question, Gary. Great question. So with that said, I'm going to get over to my SharePoint. In order to get to SharePoint, I need to be able to open up a web browser because we're doing SharePoint online. So I'm going to click into a web browser. I'll do, let's do this one. And I'm going to go to my office.com. So I'm just going to sign out of this. And I'll go to office.com. Now you may need to sign in to your office.com. You'll see here that I didn't have to sign in because, well, I've been signed in. But just so you know, you may have to sign in with your credentials. And your credentials are the same, your email address and whatever email or whatever password you use with Outlook. Now, once you're here, you have access to all your online applications. Online for Outlook, online for Teams, online for Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And to get to SharePoint, you're going to go to the app launcher. You could call it an app launcher. You could call it a grid, a waffle. I don't care what you call it. But when you click on it, you see all of the apps that you have access to. Now, if you don't see as many apps that I have, it's because, well, I teach a lot of this stuff, so I have to have access to it. Depending on what type of license you have, you'll see either more apps than me or less apps than me, or maybe even the same apps as me. If you want to see all your apps, you can go to all apps and you can quickly see them in alphabetical order. And the one that we want is SharePoint. Now, as I said before, SharePoint is for sharing cross-functionally or even across the entire organization. And if you don't see create site here, it just means that you don't have access to create a site and you have to ask your admin for access. Now, when I click on create site here, what that's going to allow me to do is create a website. And I can put whatever I want in this website, whether I want to put a calendar or files or events that are upcoming or just a message that says hello to my company, I can do it. You don't need to know HTML coding or CSS or Java or any of that because SharePoint makes it easy for you to use web parts to build out a website. Now, there's two types of websites. There's a team site, and really this team site means that you work as a team to build the website together, right? All site owners and members publish content to the site. You can track and stay updated on statuses for projects. You can share team resources and co-author content. And you might be thinking, Joe, that sounds a lot like a team. It does, it is. It's like Microsoft Teams. Fun fact, Microsoft Teams was built off of SharePoint. So why would you use SharePoint instead of Teams? Well, really, it's preference for you. If you're going to be using it as just a team site, you can choose if you want to use Teams, which is more end user friendly, or SharePoint, which is more customizable. Teams has one interface. You can't change it, only Microsoft can. SharePoint, you can backcode it, you can customize it. I want you to think of SharePoint as if you all came over my house and you said, Joe, where are the forks? I know where the forks are because, well, I put the forks away. But you don't know where the forks are, right? And that's the same thing here. If you're using SharePoint, you're setting this up with a team that knows where everything is. If you're the only one that wants to set things up, you don't want members to help you publish to the site, well, then you can use a communication site where you can put resources. Communication sites are great for company resources because you have few content authors, but many visitors. So they can go and grab a bunch of files from this site. With the team site, it's all about the collaboration. So I'm going to showcase the team site. And if you ever want to learn more about these different sites, you can come up here and click on team site or communication site, they have amazing, amazing tutorials on how to create them and reference guides for them. So I'm going to click on team site. It's going to walk me through very similar to a Microsoft team, right? It'll even ask me, do you want to connect your team to a Microsoft team to enable persistent chat? And for today, I won't go over that, but you can do that. I'm going to call this Joe's Fun Team. I probably already named it Joe's Fun Team, but oh, no, it has the site name available. If you do name something similar to someone else, it will tell you here that it's not available, but it looks good. It'll ask me to put a description of this site. Choose if it's private, only members can access, or the entire company can. Wow, that seems very similar to Teams, right? I know. And then we can click next. What do you think it's going to ask me for next? Yes, adding members. I can add Ben to this team. I can add Ben as a member or an owner. I know it's feeling like deja vu, right? Because remember, Microsoft Teams is built off of SharePoint. I'm going to click finish, and it's going to give me a website. How cool is this? I have my own website, and I didn't even have to do anything. Look, I have a place where I can add news about this website. I have a place that I can put quick links. Maybe I want to link it to my company page. I have a place for document sharing. I have a place to see all of the activity. And well, I created the site, so that's all the activity there is. I can actually revamp this entire page. I can code out this entire page without knowing a single thing of code. I'm going to make this look a little prettier. I'm going to go to the edit button, and you can only do this if you are an owner. It's going to put me into an editing page, and you'll see all my web parts, the news web part, or the quick links web part, or the activity, site activity web part, or document library where we can all share documents with each other. I can delete all of those out if I wanted to. I can say, you know what? I don't want this. Delete it. Boom. Delete this too. You know what? I'm going to go full canvas. I'm going to delete everything and I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to make it all look beautiful. Watch. I'm going to even delete these sections. You can add little sections to keep things organized. I'm going to delete this section too. And now I'm going to republish this website. And if somebody visits this website, guess what they're seeing? Yeah, they're seeing nothing. It's pretty boring. I know. Don't worry. We're going to handle it. I want to make this look pretty. So I'm going to go back to edit. And I'm going to start to add things to this website. I'm going to click the little plus sign where it says add a web part. And it's going to say, Joe, what do you want to add? Do you want a text? Do you want an image? Do you want a button? Do you want to add maybe a YouTube channel? Right? You can even add YouTube to this page. How awesome is that? You can add many things, whether it be document library where people can share document, a Twitter feed. Maybe we want to connect to our company Twitter and feed it into this website. I can add countdown timers, events, whatever I want. And what I'm thinking of doing is, you know what? I actually want to do this. I'm going to kind of map this out for you, and then I'll build it real quick. I'm going to put a welcome message here. No. Ooh, I have a better idea. I'm going to put a picture here like this. And then I'm going to have the welcome message here. I'm going to have a event timer here for a upcoming event. I don't know. I'm making it up. And we're going to have a document library down here. All right, that's what we're about to build right now. Let's see how it works. So the first thing I'll do is add section. That way I can kind of see how I want to build this. I'm going to do the picture on the left, writing on, yeah, that looks good. 1/3 left. I'm going to add the photo here. Let's add an image. It's going to say, what image? You can search OneDrive. Look at that integration. You can upload an image from your computer or search the web. I'm like, let's search the web. Let's do an image about business people. Why not? Business people. Let's see what we come up with. All right, I like this one right here. Let's go with that and insert it. So now we have a picture. Next up, I'm going to put a welcome in here. So I'm going to just put some text. I'll add a web part, choose text. And I'm going to just say something like this. Let's make it a little bigger here. I'm going to say, welcome to my site. Let's bold it, let's underline it, all the formatting tools that you have access to here. And then underneath it, let's just write, I'm going to make it a little smaller text now. Let's go with 16 font. And I'm just going to say that this site is for upcoming events and also a place to put all company shared documents. Ooh, that looks good. That sounds good. I don't want it to be bold though. So let's undo those two and just make it normal. And you can write as much as you want. I'm just doing this for time's sake. But I think this looks good. I might even do a little blue color because I like the color blue. There it is. Next up, I'm going to add, I don't need a section here because I know it's just going to take up the whole page. So you can just do a one column here automatically by default. And I'm going to add here just the countdown events. That way people know when the next event is. And they'll see all the upcoming events. You can add events if you wanted to. You can add a title. I'm going to just call it upcoming company events. I'm just building out a website. I know it seems like super easy. If you want to edit anything, you can always go to edit web part and you can see all of the different options here for this web part. But I think this looks good already. And I'm going to do one more. I'm going to just do that document library where we can all share documents. They always give you a free document library, always just one. It's called Documents. Click in there. And now I can start to add new documents where everyone that's a part of this site will have access to it. And I think this looks good. Now I'll just click republish, republish. And there we go. I have a site. The last thing I may do here is I don't like this navigation over here. I like the navigation to look more modern. So you can always go to the settings gear and change the look of the site. I can change the theme, the header, the navigation. I want the navigation to be not vertical, but horizontal. Now it's up here. I think that looks great. I also want to have a theme up here. So I'm going to say that my theme, I like teal. Let's do the teal. Maybe the blue. Actually, I do like the blue. Yeah, there it is. The blue looks good. I could go to header. Maybe I want to add a theme background. I want it to be blue. Maybe darker blue. Ooh, I like that blue. I want to change the site logo. Maybe I want the logo to be, let's go with Learn It. Whoa, look how cool. Now I have a little logo over there. I think this is starting to look great. And you know what? Let's save it. That looks good. Let's take a look at our new site. Yes. So the best part about this, Gary, is great question. Do you have to be the owner to have access? Yes. But the good news is that you can have up to 10 owners. Just like Microsoft Teams, you can change, like I have my 2 members here. At any moment, I can make Ben an owner. So yes, you do have to be an owner to do this, just to edit the site. However, you do not need to be an owner to add upcoming events or to add documents. That you only need to be a member. To actually edit the site though, yes, an owner. To add content to the site, only a member. With that said, everyone, thank you so much for being here today. I really hope you got a lot out of this, and you have a better understanding of the which tool when. So yeah, let me stop
Close you
sharing.
out, Joe. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Oh,
You're
thank
all
you
over.
so much. You're the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Joe, for all that information on OneDrive, SharePoint, and Teams. We had a poll going, and it seems like most people use Teams. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll there. So Teams with 42% won with the most used tool of our viewers. OneDrive second place at 38%, and SharePoint 19%. Not surprised SharePoint is lower. Lots of organizations don't use SharePoint so heavily. They usually lean more into Teams.
Yeah.
And then obviously just about everyone, I think, in a larger organization usually uses OneDrive in tandem with SharePoint. Yeah. And so, yeah, great information there. Guys, if you want to dig deeper, dive deeper, as I mentioned earlier, we have these upcoming events. Well, we just did which tool when, but we have Ask the Expert, loading flexible and hybrid teams, leading. So if you have any soft skill questions about, in the office, and it can be about just about anything, like if you wanted to talk about time management instead or something like that, you can come in on June 7th, and there'll be an instructor there answering any of the questions you have. They're probably going to, hopefully, if you have some questions around, leading hybrid teams, it'll be there. But you can ask anything. On the 16th, we're gonna have performance management, elevated skills. Oh, let me get my mouse out there. So that'll be another free live class that'll be here on our YouTube channel as well, available and offsite as well. That'll be at 10:30 a.m. on June 16th. These are Central times, just so you guys know. That'll be 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, our usual time. And then on June 21st, Ask the Expert Excel Intro to Data Analysis. Again, this is an excellent one to bring any worksheets or anything like that that you're having issues with or anything like that, and our instructors will help you right then and there. Like let's just say there's like a broken worksheet that's been given to you. They can try to help you figure out what's broken there and anything like that. That's a big one. Again, those Ask the Expert sessions are exclusive only to Offsite. Again, that's our online community, and I'm pretty sure the QR code is right here. You can go to offsitebylernit.com to get there, or you can also just scan the QR code right there to join up. Again, the big thing is the exclusive live instructor help on those days that we just went over. And then there's other things, like sometimes we'll have offers or deals available there only for Offsite members. There's also badge of certification as well that you can earn as well. I said as well many times there, but that's it today, guys. Again, thank you, Joe. Thank you for showing us everything there. Give you the good appreciation there. And then right after this, guys, Tableau Basics Advanced is going to premiere right after this, so I'll be in the chat there for guys. But other than that, have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.